All right, let's compare both of these two teams using our Z-score, which is grabbing a bunch of data points from a bunch of different facets of the game and putting them on a scale from 0 to 100. You know, teams are rated in 4 areas, like we mentioned, attacking, defending, possession, and intensity. And you combine all of these underlying stats, and it shows how far above the average performance are. So if you take a look, like, poor Heidenheim is all the way over here, and Inter is on the other side. And we want to see within these facets of the game where Arsenal and Chelsea lines up. So here we are in attacking, both pretty close, and defending. Arsenal are probably the standard bearers in possession and in intensity. Both teams are pretty close. Like, obviously, Arsenal, I think there are very few teams in the world that are going to beat Arsenal in several of these stats. But Chelsea, are they as far off as we think they are?
No, I don't think they are. I think they've got a lot of the building blocks. I think they've had a lot of investment put into this team, and they've got a lot of young hunger. Let's not get it confused. Like, everyone can talk about Arsenal as being the standards for this and the standards for that, but sometimes you have to go expectations against reality. Chelsea have delivered trophies. They've actually turned around and showcased they can win things. The Conference League is nothing to sneeze at, and also, of course, clouting themselves as the world champions this year after their heroics in the summer. This team has an understanding for what it's like to step on a podium, lift up silverware, and so the gaps in between the two teams is void when you're talking about actual winners, especially when you're talking about cup competition. So the lack of focus that Arsenal have had, probably I would say since the loss to Villa, has identified a few things. I think the one thing that is definitely identified is this team is both mentally and physically being pushed to the edge. A lot of their goals are being conceded after the 80th minute for a reason, and Nico, you know that's more of a mental side and a physical side than that is anything to do in regards to their ability. That tells me that there's a lot of fatigue within this team. Hence, I'm expecting a lot of rotation in regards to Arsenal selection, especially if they're going to compete on all fronts.
It's one thing I think this can happen if you're still winning.
Yeah.
Right? If they were conceding all of these goals and their form started to take a dip, then I would be concerned. But Arsenal have kind of figured it out. They're expecting that loss to Manchester United to be more of a blemish rather than a trend, right? They bounced back with a 4-0 win against Leeds over the weekend. Like, that's a sign of resilience of a team that's hungrier, that can get over a result. Then comes Carabao Cup. We'll see if they progress or if they don't. They're faced up against a Chelsea side that we said was refreshed, right? Under Rosenior, their only loss under Rosenior has been against Arsenal, right? They look good. And there's a couple of stats that show you why this team is a little bit more tenacious. Possessions won in the final third, right? Before Rosenior, 2.71. Afterwards, 4.21. Opponents' touches per possession won, it's similar. Opponents' key defensive errors per game, it's similar. But possessions won in the final third per game, this is showing me that this is a team that's willing to pounce on you, that has a little bit more aggressiveness in search of getting the ball back and of scoring.
I tell you what it also tells me. The players are buying into what Rosenior wants him to do. This is only about management. And as a player, you're only going to engage, especially in the dirty side of the game, of pressing the opponent, especially in their third, and wanting to make those physical duels and win them if you believe in terms of the mindset and the tactics that's being delivered by the manager. We've seen small clips. I like the fact that he's come down the tunnel and hovering over players when they're doing their interviews, how glowingly he spoke about Moses Caicedo when he said that he was the best player in the world in his position, the flowers and the freedom that he's given to Enzo. It's clear that Chelsea, especially the players, are buying into what Liam is doing, and more importantly, that produces results afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to see the Z-score ratings throughout all of Europe, this is Europe's top 5 leagues. Obviously, Arsenal's in 3rd, Chelsea's in 9th, Como in 10th, by the way.
Sensational.
Pretty incredible when you just grab all of the statistics.
It's your boy, Nico Paz, that's what it is.
But to qualify, though, overwhelmingly, Arsenal's the favorite over Chelsea. Do we see it going another way if it's not Arsenal?
I think before any ball is kicked, you have to give the plaudits to them. I mean, they're the favourites in the competition for a reason. They're a goal up and they're at home. That really doesn't identify that it should be a home win. But there's something special about derbies, and I said this, especially a London derby, anything could happen. An early goal, which Arsenal have done a lot of recently in terms of conceding in the wrong moments or unopportune moments, I think really could swing the balance of this tie. So the first 25 minutes is going to tell me everything, but I would say to you right now that Arsenal probably see it out 2-1.
I'm thinking about motivations, right? Both teams definitely have bigger fish to fry than the Carabao Cup, but Arsenal almost have much more of an obligation to win the Premier League, to win maybe Champions League. I don't know if obligation is the right word, but Liam Rosenior, if you can win a trophy right out of the gates, that would be pretty incredible. For Arsenal, of course, winning helps a lot more, and it helps build the confidence of a team. And it's not like they don't care about this tournament, but maybe Chelsea's a little bit more motivated than Arsenal.
Motivation is going to be a key factor to tonight, but I want you guys involved in the comments, right? Because this is where I need your insight. This is really just down to Sofascore in terms of this combined 11 between Arsenal and Chelsea right now, because the key question is who does have the edge? And when you start seeing the Sofascore rankings in terms of for these players and where they should be, and by the way, I will say these are in all competitions as well, it does sort of, I give interesting reading. This is the only thing that I knew was going to be definitive. I think we can all agree that Rice and Caicedo were definitely going to be the two players in the middle.
Hold up. Why did you highlight that it was Sofascore? Do you not want to take any responsibility?
I'm not taking any responsibility
for this 11?
when I see certain factors. Like, I will give a couple of question marks, and these are the call to actions to you guys. Where is Jurrien Timber on this? Jurrien Timber can play left or right, and he definitely has had a more consistent season than maybe both of the two fullbacks that have been selected.
Okay, would you
the goalkeeper?
Okay, goalkeeper, I think we all agree.
Is a question mark in its own right, Nico. I am not saying anything further than that. I'll let the comments cook on that one. But then the striker position in the final thirds, look, there's some good choices there, but where's Cole Palmer? Where is Cole Jermaine Palmer? End of discussion there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you need to consider that these ratings only happen when you play, and a lot of these players haven't played as much. Ødegaard hasn't played as much when you compare him to Declan Rice, Moises Caicedo, Piero Hincapié. I could even work out Timber over Piero Hincapié, but clearly his Sofascore rating isn't as great. Where's Enzo Fernandez?
Where?
Right?
Like 11 goals already this season, Enzo Fernandez?
Could you work him in for an Ødegaard? I wonder if both of these guys in this position had a higher rating than Enzo Fernandez. But, like, sure, I'll discuss almost everything. I'm open to any type of discussion.
You know what I want to discuss.
But where I think it's, this is where the numbers maybe do lie.
No.
I feel like it's blasphemy on the show.
I love Nico. He's my co-host. He's my brother in arms, and he will turn around and always do what's right in terms of talking about the numbers not lying. This one is a definitive lie. I'm telling you now, there is no way, and I would love anybody in the comments to go back and forth with me. Tell me where you see a world in which Sánchez is better than Raya in this situation, and this as well. I need an identification, a zoom in, and an explanation as to how David Raya is a negative 1.61 in goals prevented.
Okay, can I explain?
Explain it to me.
Try to explain.
Break it down.
So David Raya has conceded some long shots, right? First of all, he's not seeing that many shots because his defense is absolutely incredible. This guy maybe is called upon a little bit more than David Raya on the norm, although his save percentage is a little bit lower. This is save percentage being lower than goals prevented in the positive, and then his is flip-flopped is a little bit strange. But let's go back to the goals prevented, shall we? Let's take the Udogie shot and the Cunha shot, right? Those are low XG shots. They're incredible goals, right? That's why they're such golazos, because we don't expect the goal.
No one expected Dorgu to do that. No one expected Matheus Cunha to come inside and curl it in.
Dorgu, I think Dorgu was the crazier one. Give it a low XG. Choose it. From 0.00 to 0.99, give me a low XG.
I would say that probably Dorgu was maybe around a 2.5. That's an incredible shot.
Right.
Yeah?
So let's call it 0.2 XG, right?
Yeah.
So compare it to the one goal, because if you concede, it's one. It's an XG of 1, right?
Okay.
So you do that 0.2 minus 1. It's already a negative 0.8 XG on the night, right? Which is it shows that it's a big boost on your XG plus or minus. So if you can see that shot, Matheus Cunha, I understand why that would be a negative goals prevented, and sometimes why you shouldn't be,
you know what,
led by the stats.
I'm gonna tell you now, we haven't got to say anymore. The comments will cook for us. Yeah, the comments will explain everything we need to do in terms of this debate. You had a debate though around the 10 position, right? In terms of the positions. I heard you turn around and talk about potentially Cole Palmer against this guy, Martin Ødegaard. Look, the stats are leaning towards Cole Palmer. Maybe the key passes might lean towards Martin Ødegaard, but how do you feature? Which 10 would you select?
Yeah, the thing is that Cole Palmer hasn't played that much. Even if I had to choose the best 11, it's like, would I maybe rate Cole Palmer in a one-off over Martin Ødegaard? Maybe.
Not maybe. Cole Palmer. Cole Jermaine Palmer.
But Ødegaard at his best is absolutely incredible.
Sensational player too.
Like, his sample size is much smaller. Penalty area entries per, like, I've seen Ødegaard be very influential for longer periods of time than Cole Palmer. Is that too crazy to say?
No.
But I don't know if Ødegaard has been at his best this season. Honestly, in my team of the season, in the combined 11 this year, I don't know if I would put any of them out, because Martin Ødegaard hasn't been at his best and Cole Palmer hasn't played that much. I would probably put Enzo Fernandez in that position, to be honest.
That's a fair result. Look, Enzo's been producing 11 goals already in double figures, producing some key goals in terms of winning goals too. The last one we have to debate though. You know what time it is? It's number 9.
Okay.
Look, you already know what I'm going to feature about this, because I think both of these strikers had huge potential. I already banked in terms of João Pedro. I said he would be in the conversation for the leading Premier League goal scorer this year. That didn't quite work out how we wanted it to. Viktor Gyökeres has had spells which have been good and bad. This is one of the upturns in terms of the goal from Inter, and now you start thinking about the goal that Leeds and all the rest of it. This could be an important turning point. He needs a big goal in his Arsenal career, though. I think he needs a big goal more than João Pedro needs a big goal. He needs a goal that Arsenal fans can hang their hat on and say, this is the reason why you paid all of that money, and there is the refund in terms of the deliver in the big games.
You know who's Arsenal's leading goal scorer in the Premier League?
You're going to say own goals.
It's not own goals, actually.
I would say Leo Trossard then. Viktor Gyökeres. See, there you go. And look, attention is one thing. You can talk about everything else, but the numbers, the boy is still involved.
I do think he needs a moment, but it's crazy because who's their talisman? You would think Arsenal, like XG performance, he should be scoring more than he's actually scoring, right? Again, adaptability. This guy has already played in the Prem. There was a lot of pressure on Viktor Gyökeres. I was flying the Viktor Gyökeres fan from the very beginning. But maybe it takes him some time. Although he's Arsenal's leading goal scorer in the Premier League. And if they are to win, it's just a little bit unusual to say that this team doesn't have an out-and-out superstar performer, like with the numbers. Rice, I think, is like the MVP of this team, all said and done. But they don't have a guy that's putting up double-digit goals in the Prem right now. Bukayo Saka is off his best performances in the Prem, no?
Say no more.
Well, it's great. If Arsenal gets this done, they're going to get it done in a very different way. There's Robert Sánchez with our own JayDee Dyer. This is Numbers Don't Lie, and perhaps in this segment, they just did a little bit. Hey, thanks for watching this video from Numbers Don't Lie. Be sure to catch our show every Monday at 5 p.m. on YouTube. And for news and insights from leagues all around the world, including Serie A, EFL, and all UEFA competitions, both men's and women's, don't forget to sign up for Paramount+.